Hi guys, and welcome to this tutorial. This is the first video in a new ongoing series of tutorials which will be about different topics in drawing, important things that you need to know to get to be a better artist. And this first video is about wrinkles, and I'm actually going to have another wrinkle video later on. But let's get started. We're going to be drawing a dress shirt, some boots, and a long dress, and I'm going to do a step-by-step lesson on how to properly put the wrinkles on each of these different fabric types. So let's start with the dress shirt, and I'm just going to put the cuffs in real quick because that's the easiest part, and I like to knock out the easiest part first. Next, let's look at the wrinkles that will be happening around the elbows. Now, this fabric has been going straight down here, but when the arm bends, this fabric is going to have to bend with it and fold up on itself in this little crook, in this sort of a pattern. So first, the fabric comes out as it tries to fold, and the folds will follow those guidelines that I just erased, sort of like this, and ending with a hook. The important thing is to vary the shape of these and to have the hooks pointing in different directions so that it looks more realistic. On this side, we also have a bit of fabric going out because it's reacting to these folds being pushed outwards, and then it joins back up to the sleeve. At the bottom, we have just a little bit of wrinkling, and at the top, where the arm goes into the body, we will have just a small amount of wrinkles, and then one going down here. That's where the shirt wraps around the body. And just to make things a little, just to make things a little clearer, I'm going to use a whiteout pen to erase the parts that wouldn't actually be there. So that's that for the first sleeve. Now let's move on to the collar. To do the collar, I'm going to put in the neck, where the neck would be, and the collar is just basically a rectangle which wraps around the neck. And we're going to refine this a little. It comes down sort of in a triangular way right here and meets in the middle on the inside. And that's where the buttons are, and I'll just put in the tiniest little suggestion of buttons, and I'm going to try to get that pretty evenly spaced there. And let's erase and make it look smoother. Now on to this side, and we're just going to follow the same principle, which is first a couple of folds outwards as the fabric is pressed up into this position, and then just a few random hooks, this wrinkle wrapping around, and then the shirt wrapping around the arm again up here, only we don't want to have it be too symmetrical. So we're just going to have it be a very, very tiny thing. And this is a very interesting part. Where the arm touches the body, the fabric also wrinkles there. So we're going to have a few wrinkles sticking out from the chest of this mannequin thing here, and a few on this side. And I'm going to put wrinkles on both sides of this arm just to shake things up. And also he's got his arm in the air, which is causing gravity to pull the cuff down, which would make a few more wrinkles. And then I'm going to white out that little bit. And we are nearly done, except I wanted to put in just a few wrinkles at the bottom. When the shirt is tucked into the belt, it also makes a few little wrinkles. So the shirt bulges outwards before being sucked into the belt, and there we put just a few tiny lines angled there, and I'm just going to put a little line in the middle of it if I want to. I might not. We might want that shirt to look really, really clean, and to make it look clean there are no wrinkles in the middle. So this time I'm just not going to even have anything there. And that is it for the dress shirt. So now we can move on to the boots. Now you might think that there aren't a lot of wrinkles in boots, but we're not going to do the normal skin tight kind. While that is an option, I wanted to go into a really detailed kind. You know, sort of floppy, oversized, super stylish boots. And they're going to be high heeled, as you can see, because she appears to be tiptoeing. So we're going to start by outlining the way the boots are going to be. They're going to come off of the calf and fall forwards quite a bit. On this leg they're going to fall forwards more because it's angled, which causes this to fall forwards. Now let's get rid of the leg inside. I did these mannequin outlines in pen just so that I wouldn't accidentally erase them, but you might want to do it in pencil in case you don't have a way to get rid of the outlines. You don't have to get rid of the outlines, but I'm just doing it because it makes things a little easier for me. So before we dive into the wrinkles, I'm just going to put the heel in, and the heel of a high heel actually curves inwards. It doesn't go down straight. It curves inwards, following this motion of the heel. So it's like a long, continuous curve. And it curves like that before coming to rest on the ground. If you keep a lot of curves in your high heels, it'll make it look a lot more elegant and realistic. So let's do the same for this side. And now for the wrinkles. This is the area where most of the wrinkles are going to appear, because that's where the fabric has to tighten up and meet with this foot. So let's do it. In that place we're going to put just a little jagged line, and you want to keep it different on both sides. You don't want to make it look symmetrical, or that'll be kind of weird. So these are our wrinkles, and we're just going to come off them sort of like this, but not touching, and crisscross. See? And not all of them have hooks, because this is a very thick material, as shoes normally are, which means that it will not fold as much as the dress shirt, which is a very thin, light material. I mean, imagine folding cardstock and folding tissue paper. The thicker one is harder to fold, and the thinner one is easier, and it's the same with cloth. And you have to keep that in mind when doing wrinkles. And onto this side, and I just dashed this in there. That's something you have to know when doing wrinkles. You can't go slow with some kinds of wrinkles. It looks a lot better if you just sort of scribble it in there. I mean, that of course is not a wrinkle. It looks more like I'm trying to write or something. But you might try going really fast with your wrinkles. I'm going to darken these lines now. And let's put in just a little bit of a design. You know, just some cool looking clasps or whatever, hold boots together. And that is that for the high heel boots. Now let's move on to my very favorite one, the long dress. This is going to be a super billowy Cinderella type dress. I'm sure you've all seen that traditional image of the Disney Cinderella where she's standing there and she has the dress like going off to one side, blowing. That might look pretty hard to do, but I'm going to show you how to do a really beautiful billowy effect for a long dress that you will be able to use in manga if you're like drawing, if you're like making a princess story or something. We're just doing speed paint, so let's do this. First we'll just do a big, like an outline of what we're doing, which starts with an S curve, and then we have the bottom of the dress. The wind is blowing in this direction, which presses the fabric against the legs on this side and throws it out very far on the other side. Now we'll look at how it just goes up and is sewn into the waist here. This is expressed in many little humps, and these we will vary in size. But we want to keep them pretty much uniformly up and down. And from these we can start putting what look like stripes in the dress, and we want this part to be blowing up, so from the bottom we curve inwards. This one is blowing down but slightly in and then down. You really want to just have it be a continuous curve like that, except that unlike that curve, which is so easy to scribble in, you'll get a better 3D effect with this, because as you can see it actually stops short as this bit of fabric overlaps over it, and that is the effect we want. On this side the dress is actually curving so much that it flips in on itself. So you're going to want to draw that little hook in there, a tiny bit of fabric back there, and we'll erase that guideline too. And I think I'm going to curve over the feet just a little and bring this curve down over that fabric. And now let's get rid of these legs so we can make things a little easier for ourselves. Now that we have that, let's darken these lines, and I suspect that my white ink might not be fully dried yet, so I'm going to be careful and avoid the parts that have white ink because I don't want to ruin that. Now this is actually kind of simple. While it works, I usually like to go a little more detailed on long dresses like this, so I'm going to show you a quick way to put light and dark effect in it. I'm outlining the parts that will be light, and we're going to shade in everything else. The parts that will be light are the parts that billow up, and the parts that billow up you can tell what they are because the bottoms of it curve inwards. So I'm going to go through and get all those parts. And now let's tone in the rest. And I know apparently you're not supposed to smear this stuff with your finger, but I just always do it. I don't care about rules, drawing rules. I'm a drawing rebel or something, I don't know. You just gotta wipe all this off before continuing. Otherwise you'll accidentally smear your drawing. That's probably why everybody says don't do it. So get all that gunk off before continuing. If you're gonna use your finger to smear it, clean it off. So now we have it looking all billowy and nice. And that is that. I'm actually going to go ahead and shade in all the other items we did too, just because I like shading things. So you can shade stuff in if you've been following this tutorial. You can go ahead and shade your stuff in if you want, if you haven't already. If you're like working ahead of me or something. Alright, that is it for this tutorial. I hope this video was helpful to you guys, and I can't wait to continue making the videos in this series. I plan them out, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. So, yeah, that's going to be great. Don't forget to share this video, and check out my channel. I've got a whole lot of other videos that will probably interest you. So, head on over there, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video.